I'm Jessica Stutzman from Millcreek Township.
And I'm Chantel Rodriguez. Welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel.
Today we're joined by Jon DeMarco, Executive Director of the Presque Isle Partnership, to talk about their mission to preserve, protect, and enhance one of our region's most treasured parks. Jon, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here today.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I love the new setup.
Thank you. Well, we're excited to have you on, and just like I said, to have a great discussion. I think we're all a little tired of winter right now, so anytime I can talk about the beach, Presque Isle, the peninsula, all the fun things you have going on, I am really happy to do that right now.
Oh, we're so ready, and for those not knowing, we're taping on April 9th, and there's snow on the ground at my house right now.
There is.
So we are really gearing up for summer and can't wait for just the warmer weather and watching things come alive down at Presque Isle.
Yeah. And so can you tell us a little bit more about just the Presque Isle Partnership in general and then your role as Executive Director? How long have you been there?
Sure. Well, I think I'm going on my 11th year as the director. I started as an intern in the late 2000s, and it kind of just, it found me, really. I always went to the peninsula and enjoyed fishing and going to the beach and playing volleyball, all the fun things to do, hiking. And I also got a job at the bike and boat rental. So I was familiar with the park. I liked working with, interfacing with the guests and everybody coming to visit the park. And from there, I just kind of found out about Presque Isle Partnership because I volunteered to sell buttons one year, and that's when I learned about the internship program. So that's really how I started with the Presque Isle Partnership was as an intern. But going backwards, the Presque Isle Partnership, I didn't know what it was, and so here I'll tell you, and I'll tell our guests, we're a nonprofit organization that was formed in 1994. So we just celebrated our 30th anniversary. We are considered a friends group to Presque Isle State Park. There's 125 state parks in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, all under the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and many of them have friends groups, which are volunteer groups that assemble and do what they can to contribute to the park, whether it be time, energy, resources, and that's really what the partnership does. And there are a few different friends groups associated with Presque Isle working on kind of different components where DCNR needs help. So the partnership, you probably recognize us for events like Discover Presque Isle and Presque Isle Lights and Triathlon and a few of those other great events. But really, we try to fundraise and make the park a better place for everyone. So we've invested in, and we'll get into this later, some of the different projects, but picnic tables, we've built a pavilion, charcoal grills we've purchased, things that when funds are contributed to the partnership, they are able to go right back into the park, and that sometimes they happen a little bit quicker. And they're things that the DCNR desires, but might not necessarily be on their top priority list because of all the stuff that needs to be maintained at Presque Isle.
And what I want to say is that and just because I know, and like I said, we'll get into, but just all the things that you have purchased, for Presque Isle, fundraised for and purchased for Presque Isle, are a part of some of my core memories of being down there. Like you just mentioned, the new grilling stations, and I can, remember like bringing down breakfast and cooking, eggs and, bacon on the charcoal grill pits, and the handicap accessible, the blue mats that you roll out on the beach. I specifically look for those for me and my daughter as we're rolling the wagons out. But you guys have contributed to so many of my core memories and just made Presque Isle, the experience on Presque Isle, just top notch.
Well, it's great to hear that, and it makes us feel like we're doing our job. But it's a collective group. It's the community. It's everybody's park. So we wouldn't be where we are today, having given back what we've given back, if it wasn't for everybody's effort who has contributed, sold, bought a button, joined the membership, all those great things. So thank you.
Yeah. And you do make us feel like that, like it is everybody's park. I mean, I definitely feel, I feel at home there, and I feel like a sense of a need to protect and preserve it. So
Awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the buttons, but how did you first get involved with the partnership, and what drew you to this kind of work?
So I got involved through Discover Presque Isle as volunteering that one time, but what drew me to it was just I grew up a few blocks from the peninsula, and I would ride my bike down, or just hitch a ride with friends who I had older brothers, so we'd go down and play volleyball. It was always popular, just do it after school. I think on our senior skip day, we all went down and
Beach
played
six.
volleyball. Yeah, Beach
Yes,
six.
that's my memory too.
But yeah, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that had a cottage in Harbor Creek, so we were always drawn to the lake. Like our weekends, Thursday through Sunday night, were just in the lake, just fishing and riding waves, doing all that fun stuff, sailing, kayaking, and all that. So I knew I never actually knew that I wanted to do something like this. I went to school at Penn State for accounting, and my senior year I kind of went into panic mode and was like, I don't want to sit behind a desk all day long. And I had the experience with the partnership through that internship, and like I said, it found me, and here I am, like it seems like 15 years later, still doing it and still having fun with it and still being able to be creative. But the best part is just our volunteers and everybody we get to work with, to help the resource that is Presque Isle.
Yeah, and still going strong. So, and because you guys are so strong, do you want to mention some of those core goals you have for the organization, and then how they impact the community at large?
Yeah, so our core goals are, and definitely when we're doing any sort of programming, is that number one, it's safe. Number two, like public safety is huge for us. We work very closely with DCNR, and we won't do anything without making sure that we can do it safely. And then accessibility is huge for us as well. Through the Moby mats, like we call them, they're called Moby mats, but people might know them as the blue mats or the magic carpets that we roll out onto the beach. Those make the sand accessible for all. They're wheelchair accessible, and for people like you who might be coming out with the big wagon, it makes it that long stretch from the bathhouse to the water at Beach 11, which is several hundred feet, a lot more manageable. I mean, the sand gets over like 150 degrees on those warm summer days, so that saves your feet if you're walking.
It does.
We've purchased beach wheelchairs. We just purchased a couple of these things. They're called Huckleberry hiking carts. It's basically the back end of a bike with a seat on it that you wear a harness around yourself, and then a child with a disability can sit in that cart and basically go on any trail. So like I would become the Sherpa and be able to. It makes these trails accessible. So we just bought those through an ECRA grant, and we're going to be hopefully rolling those out this summer for people to just sign out at the public safety building. So.
And where's the public safety building located?
The public safety building is about halfway into the park. Before you get to Waterworks, it's where the rangers are headquartered and the lifeguards are headquartered. So it used to be the park administrative building. Now it's the public safety building. That's by the lily pond right there.
And what I will say too about the Moby mats, I really want to call them blue magic carpets now.
Yeah.
So what I will say about that too is I always notice that they're strategically placed pretty close to the lifeguards, which I think is nice too, because if you have an emergency, running through sand is, pretty difficult in and of itself, let alone it being pretty hot sand. And so having the Moby mats pretty close to the lifeguards, gets you help all that much quicker.
Yeah, it's really an amazing product. And I was out of the country a few months ago at a beach and they had them, and I was like, yes, that's so cool. Like we have a bunch of these up at Presque Isle, and I'm glad that they're making their way across the world, because they are just we take it for granted. Like walking in the sand is extremely difficult for some people, and so it's great to be able to offer that. And so we said public safety, accessibility. I mean, historic preservation is huge for us too. We were the organization that hosted a big concert back in 2014 with Steely Dan that was to benefit the Presque Isle Lighthouse, and having that become a public facility for people to go and tour and all that. So what people can do now is just go and enjoy our lighthouse. People travel from all over the country to come visit Presque Isle, but people travel all over the world to visit lighthouses. So it really puts Presque Isle on the map, Erie on the map. And preservation and conservation is a very important component of our work as well. We definitely, whenever we're hosting an event or whatever, we we don't want to put too much stress on the resource. And we just started a couple years ago a native tree planting program. As you know, the park is filled with cottonwood trees, and those were planted there because of their root system and helping to stabilize the soil. But they've really kind of taken over, not in an invasive way, but in order to diversify Presque Isle a little bit more, we're strategically planting, some good caliber trees, and we've partnered with Weiss Early on getting, anywhere from 10 to 20 good-sized trees planted every year in more of those recreational areas, and that's better for everyone. That's better for the resource. It's better for the habitat. Not to mention they look great in the fall too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and what I've learned recently about and diversification again with tree plantings is absolutely huge, but also staggering when those are planted. Because if you have a diverse forest, but it was all planted at the same time, those trees are probably going to age and die all at the same time. So by staggering the plantings, is also going to help Presque Isle in the long run too.
Exactly. So if we can continue to up that number of trees we plant every year, it started the first year as 10. This year or last year it was 12. This year hopefully maybe 15. Next year 20, and then before you know it, Presque Isle, we've made a huge impact, and it's kind of back to how it originally was before we came in and planted all the cottonwoods way back when. So yeah, that's really important to us, and we support the other organizations that are doing more preservation work as well, whenever we can. So it's great.
Yeah, and you were speaking on, people coming all over the world just for lighthouses, and Presque Isle really being a beloved destination. So how does your organization help protect and enhance that experience for visitors and even the local people like us?
Yeah, we really try to be a resource for people who are looking to come to Erie and check it out, and specifically Presque Isle. So we're active on our website. We try to keep that updated with the programs, not only our programs, but programs of our partners and the DCNR. They do a lot of great educational programming. What beaches you can swim at, where are the bathrooms, what are some things you can do while you're here, learn a little bit more about what you should experience while you're here. Just kind of be that resource, be one of the resources, because there are plenty of resources out there to learn about the park. So that's what we're trying to do, to just kind of educate the public and the visiting public on everything that Presque Isle has to offer, and it is a rich offering for sure.
Yeah, there's so much, and I feel like you're always trying to one up every year, so that makes it exciting for families to come and really build core memories on Presque Isle.
Yeah, you both talked about core memories. I mean,
I know.
I think everybody has those core memories, and it's like in our DNA, the peninsula.
Absolutely.
Like something about the Great Lake, living on a Great Lake, visiting a Great Lake is just so impactful and lasts a lifetime, and it's something you want to pass on to your kids. And I'm just happy we have a 5-year-old, and I know you have a young one too. Chantel, I just met you, so
I have 3.
You have 3.
Yes.
So I mean, here, we want to. The goal is to make sure that whatever we're doing now has not any negative impacts on the memories that our children and grandchildren will make down at the park in the future. So it's all about those, preserving it for generations to come, and enhancing it too. And it's been great to see DCNR putting a lot of resources back into the park in terms of facilities. We could have a whole nother segment on that, but it's a lot's happening with the water line and infrastructure, and new buildings going to be taking place, like new bathhouses and things like that. So I don't know how much I can talk about it.
Yes,
now,
well, and I know, and so I was gonna say, and I would love to have you back on the show. We're not at our close just yet, so we can keep talking. But what I want to talk about, and you did mention a lot already, just some major projects or improvements that Presque Isle Partnership has funded that visitors might recognize or might benefit from. Again, core memory. I love the natural playground that you've put in. Are there any other ones? I mean, you might want to speak on that one. Are there any other ones that that you've put in recently?
Sure. Well, I do want to direct people to our website under the work section of our website, because it does list all of those. But some of the ones that people might not know, which they probably know now if they've been listening to the show up until now, is the Moby mats. Those come in 50-foot sections, and I think we have at this point about 1,000 feet of it. So we're going to be working with the park to determine where those are going to go. The lighthouse was a big project of ours that we provided the seed funding for. The lifeguard stations that you see at Beaches 6 and Beach 11, we purchased the materials and built those with the help of Frontier General Contracting. So that's like a nice station for the lifeguards, and they have big numbers on the back of them, so you know what beach you're at.
Yes, I'm obsessed with those. They
Yeah.
remind me of California, so I absolutely love those.
Yeah, so it's the Baywatch.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Baywatch style.
Baywatch of
That's the best way
Erie.
to describe it. I mentioned picnic tables, charcoal grills. Did I say the Waterworks playground? The nature play space at Beach 11, the Waterworks gear tower restoration at the Waterworks area. There's a whole bunch, and more to name that I probably maybe even have forgotten about, but interpretive panels throughout the park, all good stuff that I think the public appreciates and adds to a visitor experience for sure.
Yeah, they do appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and you're talking about all of the improvements that you guys are doing, but what about the events? Can you share some highlights of those?
Yeah, so our event season we're coming up on it. It's really busy, and our UPMC Sunset Music Series on Wednesday nights are a hit and definitely a tradition, I think. Same with our Presque Isle Lights event that we do in the winter. Next year, or this year, it'll be our 6th annual, and we're going to do some changes to that. We're going to shorten it a little bit, but add more to it. And then we have our Presque Isle Triathlon. We do a kayak poker run and a bicycle poker run. What am I forgetting? Discover Presque Isle. Yeah,
The big one.
That's like 20 events within one event. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. As I mentioned, our volunteers are rock stars. We have a core group, and some that'll come out and put in 100 hours in a year, and some that might just do a 3-hour shift. But all, more hands make light work. So.
So let's talk about that, actually, because we are getting close to the end of our show here. What do you need from the community? Do you need donations? Do you need people to show up at the events? Do you need people to work the events? What do you need from our viewers?
Resources, I'm talking about financial contributions. The Presque Isle Partnership is funded completely by donations and sponsorships for our events. We receive no federal funding. We do apply for some local grants like the Erie County Gaming Revenue Authority and the Erie Community Foundation, but beyond that, we really try to just keep it hyper-local. We know there's enough folks in Erie that are truly impacted by the park, so, this is, we're a great avenue, conduit, if you will, for your contributions to funnel directly into the park and make it a better place for everybody.
Yeah, and Presque Isle is free to access year-round. So, these donations really make that possible for us to be able to enjoy it year-round. Is that right?
That's true. And we're a small staff, so we're very lean. We are very efficient with how we spend our resources. So you can be sure that when you're giving to the Presque Isle Partnership, it's going towards enhancing the visitor experience through either projects, programs, events. Of course, there's overhead with our organization as well. I'm the only paid employee. Everybody else is a volunteer or a board member, which are volunteers. But we're all very active because we all very, very much love the park.
Yeah.
So you can feel good about that and knowing that it's not going down to Harrisburg in the general fund, and it might not ever make its way back to Erie. It stays here.
Jon, we're coming to the end of our show here, but can you tell, again, our viewers where to find you, how to contact you, follow you on social media? Let's give everybody all the avenues where they could possibly reach out and connect with you.
Sure. discoverpi.org is our website. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Presque Isle Partnership. Our offices are our office is in the Tom Ridge Environmental Center, and you'll see us out on the park a lot coming up here in the future as the weather gets nicer. So feel free to come up, say hello, tell us about how much you love the park, and again, don't forget about all the great ways there are to enjoy the park, and feel free to reach out with any questions.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
hopefully
you so
there's no
much.
more snow.
I can't take it much past
No.
April here. So, Jon, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. And again, we want to have you back, especially even closer to winter, because we just keep powering through the snow, and so does Presque Isle. So I want to have you back on to talk about some winter activities too.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Awesome. Thank you. Viewers, again, we learned so much about the Presque Isle Partnership with 4 million people going to Presque Isle every single year. The Presque Isle Partnership does so much to make sure that we have an enjoyable experience there. Again, fantastic events, fantastic projects that they have going on. And we've got the Presque Isle Days coming up. So we want to make sure that everybody tunes into the Discover Presque Isle event. And again, that is a really, really fun week. So viewers, make sure you go to their website to learn more information. And until next time, have a great day.